If your OD light is flashing, do not ignore it and do not just reset it. A steady OD off be involved. This can be caused by a bad solenoid, wiring issue, valve body problem, dirty fluid, or internal torque converter wear. If you have P0730 or gear ratio codes like P0731 to P0736, be care light may simply mean overdrive has been turned off manually, but a flashing OD light usually means the transmission computer has detected a fault. Sometimes the car may still drive normally. Other times you may feel hard shifting, slipping, delayed acceleration, jerking, overheating, or the car may get stuck in one gear. And if you keep driving with the wrong fault, a small problem like low fluid, a bad sensor, or a shift solenoid issue can turn into major transmission damage. So in this video, I'll show you how to diagnose a flashing overdrive light in the right order, what to check with yourself, what codes to look for, and how to reset the OD light properly after the real problem is fixed. The rule is simple. Find the cause first, repair it, then clear the codes. What does the overdrive light mean? Overdrive helps your car cruise at highway speed with lower engine RPM. That improves fuel economy, reduces engine strain, and keeps the car smoother at higher speed. If you press the overdrive button and the dash says OD off, that may be normal. It means overdrive has been disabled manually. But if the OD light is flashing, that is different. Flashing usually means the transmission control system has detected a problem with fluid pressure, temperature, speed sensors, shift solenoids, torque converter clutch operation, wiring, or internal slipping. So do not treat a flashing OD light like a normal button setting. Step 1. Check how serious the problem is. Before you open the hood, pay attention to how the car behaves. If the OD light is flashing but the car shifts normally, drive gently and diagnose it as soon as possible. If the transmission is slipping, banging into gear, overheating, making loud noises, smelling burnt, losing power, or refusing to move properly, stop driving if it is safe to do so. Continuing to drive can burn clutches, damage the torque converter, or destroy the transmission. Also pay attention to when it happens. Does the OD light flash only on the highway, only after the car warms up, only when shifting into overdrive, or immediately after startup? That clue helps narrow down the cause. Step 2. Scan the transmission codes before clearing anything. The next step is scanning the vehicle. Do this before disconnecting the battery, clearing codes, or replacing parts. Plug your scanner into the OBD2 port under the dashboard. Turn the ignition on and scan for codes. But here's the important part. Many cheap scanners only read engine codes. A flashing OD light may store codes in the transmission control module, so use a scanner that can read transmission codes. Common transmission-related codes include P0700 transmission control system fault, P0715 input or turbine speed sensor circuit, P0720 output speed sensor circuit, P0730 incorrect gear ratio, P0731 to P0736 gear ratio error in a specific gear, P0740/P0741 torque converter clutch circuit or performance P0750 to P0770 shift solenoid related codes, P0711, P0712, P0713 transmission fluid temperature sensor codes, P0841, P0842, P0843 transmission fluid pressure sensor or switch codes. Write the codes down or take a picture. Do not clear them yet. The codes are your roadmap. Step 3. Check the transmission fluid correctly. Transmission fluid is one of the first physical checks you can do yourself, but you must check it the right way. Park on a level surface. Set the parking brake. Let the engine warm up. On many vehicles, the fluid is checked with the engine running, but always follow your owner's manual. Move the shifter slowly through each gear. Park, reverse, neutral, drive, and lower gears. Pause a few seconds in each position, then return to park or neutral, depending on your vehicle's procedure. Now pull the transmission dipstick if your car has one. Wipe it clean, insert it fully, pull it out again, and check the level. Healthy automatic transmission fluid is usually red or pink and should not smell burnt. Some modern fluids may be different colors, so color alone is not everything. If the fluid is low, do not just top it off and forget it. Look for leaks around the transmission pan, cooler lines, axle seals, output shaft seal, radiator connector or transmission cooler area and underneath the vehicle. Use only the exact fluid type required for your vehicle. The wrong fluid can cause harsh shifting, slipping, overheating, or solenoid problems. If the fluid is dark, smells burnt, or has metal particles, do not treat it as a simple reset problem. Burnt fluid or metal. Also, some vehicles do not have a dipstick. If yours has a sealed transmission, do not guess. The fluid level may need to be checked through a fill plug at a specific temperature using a scan tool. Step 4. Check the OD button and shifter switch. Now check the simple things. Find the OD button. It may be on the gear shifter, steering column, or dashboard. Press it once and watch the dash. If the light says OD off and stays steady, overdrive may simply be turned off. Press it again to turn overdrive back on. But if the OD light keeps flashing, the problem is not just the button being pressed. Still, the switch can fail. Press the button several times and feel if it sticks. Inspect the shifter area for spilled drinks, dirt, or broken plastic around the switch. If the OD light changes when you move the shifter or press the button, the switch or shifter wiring may need inspection. Step 5. Inspect transmission wiring and connectors. Many transmission problems are electrical, so inspect the wiring before assuming the transmission is ruined. Turn the engine off and let the vehicle cool. Look around the transmission for connectors and wiring harnesses. Use a flashlight. Check for loose plugs, broken wires, melted insulation, oil-soaked connectors, corrosion, or damage from road debris or rodents. If you find a connector, make sure it is seated firmly. If it is dirty or corroded, unplug it carefully, spray electrical contact cleaner, let it dry, then reconnect it. Do not pull on the wires. Pull on the connector body. If a wire is broken, repair it properly with the correct wire size, crimp or solder connection, and heat shrink protection. Twisting wires together and wrapping tape around them is not reliable near a hot transmission. Step 6. Match the code to the likely fault. Now use the code to guide the repair. If you have P0715 or P0720, the problem may be an input or output speed sensor. These sensors help the computer know how fast the transmission parts are spinning. A bad speed sensor can cause harsh shifting, wrong gear selection, limp mode, or flashing OD light. If the sensor is external, you may be able to replace it yourself. Unplug the connector, remove the mounting bolt, twist the sensor gently, pull it out, compare it with the new one. Lightly lubricate the O-ring if required, install it, tighten the bolt, reconnect the plug, and clear the codes after repair. If you have P0750 to P0770, the problem may be a shift solenoid. Shift solenoids control fluid flow inside the transmission. Some are inside the transmission pan or valve body, so this job may require draining fluid, removing the pan, and replacing the solenoid or solenoid pack. If you have P0740 or P0741, the torque converter clutch system may fuel. These can point to slipping, low fluid, pressure problems, worn clutches, or internal damage. Do not just reset these codes and keep driving. If you have P0711 to P0713, check for transmission overheating or a fluid temperature sensor problem. If you have P0841 to P0843, the issue may involve transmission pressure, pressure switches, wiring, valve body problems, low fluid, or internal hydraulic faults. Step 7. Check for transmission overheating. Heat can trigger OD light flashing and destroy a transmission quickly. After a drive, smell around the vehicle. A burnt smell can point to overheated fluid. Look for fluid leaks near the transmission cooler lines. These lines usually run from the transmission to the radiator or separate cooler. Check that the radiator and transmission cooler are not blocked with dirt, leaves, or debris. If you tow, drive in mountains, or carry heavy loads, overheating becomes more likely. If your scanner shows transmission temperature, compare it to normal range for your vehicle. If it is too hot, do not keep driving hard. Fix the cooling problem first. Step 8. Replace or service only. What testing confirms. If the fluid is low, fix the leak and refill with the correct fluid. If the sensor code points to an external sensor and the wiring checks out, replace the sensor. If the code points to a shift solenoid, confirm whether the solenoid is external, part of a solenoid pack, or inside the pan before starting. If you are not comfortable removing the transmission pan, this may be a mechanic level repair. If the fluid is burnt full of metal or the transmission is slipping badly, do not expect a reset to fix it. That may need professional diagnosis, valve body repair, torque converter work, rebuild, or replacement. Step 9. Reset the OD light properly. Only reset the OD light after you have repaired the cause. Connect your transmission-capable scanner. Clear the codes from the engine and transmission modules. Start the vehicle and confirm the OD light is not flashing. Then test drive gently. Let the transmission shift through all gears. Pay attention to slipping, jerking, delayed shifts, and whether overdrive engages at highway speed. After the test drive, scan again for pending or stored codes. Do not rely on disconnecting the battery as your main reset method. It may not clear transmission codes properly, and it can reset radio settings, window calibration, idle relearn, transmission adaptive memory, and other systems. The biggest mistake you will make is treating a flashing OD light like a normal overdrive button issue. A steady OD off light may just mean overdrive is turned off. A flashing OD light usually means a transmission fault is stored. Another mistake is clearing the light without checking the fluid, codes, wiring, sensors, solenoids, or overheating. If the real problem is still there, the light will return, and the transmission may get worse. So the correct order is to identify whether the OD light is steady or flashing, scan transmission codes, check the fluid correctly, inspect wiring and leaks, repair the confirmed fault, clear the codes, and test drive. That is how you fix and reset a flashing overdrive light the right way. If this video helped, like the video, share it, and subscribe to the channel. Also, watch this next video on bad transmission solenoid versus bad torque converter symptoms. Because if your OD light is flashing with hard shifting, slipping, delayed engagement, or torque converter codes, that video will help you narrow down whether the problem is coming from the solenoid, torque converter, fluid pressure, or internal transmission wear before you replace the wrong part.